But we believe climate change will ultimately be solved by can-do capitalism, not don't-do governments seeking to control people's lives and tell them what to do with interventionist regulation and taxes that just forced up your cost of living and force businesses to close. Can-do capitalism, not don't-do governments. I think that's a good motto for us to follow, not just in this area, but right across the spectrum of economic policy in this country. We've got a bit used to governments telling us what to do over the last couple of years. I think we have to break that habit. And it will be fixed painstakingly, step, by entrepreneurs, by scientists, by technologists, by innovators, by industrialists, by financiers, by risk takers. That's the Australian way. That's the way I've been championing on the world stage. And like-minded capitalist market-based economies should be doing the same. As Liberals and Nationals, we have far more trust in those who will risk their own capital to bring about these innovations than governments using your tax dollars to tell you what to do. And I think Australians, after almost 2 years of governments telling them what to do through this pandemic, they've had just about enough of that approach. That approach does not come easy to us as Liberals and Nationals. It just doesn't. Every fibre of our being, in many of the decisions we've had to take, it goes against our instincts, it goes against our grain, but it was necessary. But what you can take from that is we'll reset back to letting our economy do the work and let those who drive it be able to do that work. How we respond to climate change and the impact that the global response to climate change will have on Australia, that is a significant economic challenge. These are not just issues that are about the environment. They will have profound economic implications. And there are great opportunities associated with these changes, but there are also great risks for Australia. It's not a one-way street. No one passed a law or introduced a tax or passed a resolution at the UN that led to the world developing a COVID vaccine. No one passed a law or introduced a tax for the world to move from analogue to digital. Google and Cochlear were not invented at a UN workshop or summit. Just as the animal spirits of enterprise have worked together with scientists and technologists to change the world in the past, and we've seen that here right in this very city, through advances in medical science and digital technology, I am more than convinced they also hold the answer to solving the challenge of a decarbonised economy. And if you don't believe me, just follow the money. And the global energy economy is transforming as the world responds to climate change. Now, all of these forces have very real implications for Australia. How we navigate these next few years, the choices we make as a government, the choices Australians make as a people, will have a major impact on our future prosperity and indeed the security of our country. But you know what? I'd rather be us here in Australia than anywhere else in the world. As always, we have reason to be optimistic. It's our country's nature, and I can assure you it's my nature. Under our plan, Australians do not have to upturn their lifestyles or our economy to reach net zero. We can make our own Australian way. Under our plan, Australia will continue producing and exporting world-class resources, energy, manufactured goods, agricultural products, led by globally competitive businesses. And there are 5 principles that guide our plan. Technology, not taxes. Respecting consumers' choices, not telling them what to do with mandates. Trusting customers to make good calls, and trusting businesses and enterprise to respect their customer and their demands and what they want to pay for it, and ensure they can get their costs down to meet that demand. Driving down the cost of a range of new technologies, many more horses in the race, as we like to talk about at Angus and I. keeping energy prices down with affordable and reliable power, and also being accountable for our progress. Australia reports every quarter, every gas, every sector, every emission. The rest of the world has to catch up to that sort of transparency. And I had the opportunity to share directly with them, whether it was in Rome at the G20 or at COP26, because a 20% fall is broadly in line with what's being achieved across the EU, but it's better than the United States, it's better than Japan, it's better than our Kiwi cousins across the ditch in New Zealand, in Canada and South Korea. Australia's emissions intensity has fallen since 2005 by 54%. Now that ranks Australia second only to the UK of all G20 countries. I particularly enjoyed sharing that with my G20 colleagues when I was there. While reducing our absolute emissions by more than 20% since 2005, our economy has grown by 45%, proving that emissions reduction need not come at the expense of economic growth.